And be glad in it. Give Almighty Yah a hand clap praise. This is the day that Yah has made. This is the day that Yah has made. And we will rejoice in spite of. Somebody say in spite of. You know what the in spite of mean, right? In spite of what's going on. That's unfortunate. In spite of your situation, in spite of your circumstances. You understand? We're going to rejoice in this day because this is the day that Yah has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. At this particular time, let us stand and let us face the east as we open up with the prayer that was taught the disciples or the followers of Hamashiach. Repeat after me. Abba Yah, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. And lead us not into distraction. But deliver us from the evil. But deliver us from the distractions. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Somebody say hallelujah. Somebody say hallelujah. Give Almighty Yah a hand clap praise. At this particular time, it is our custom. We're going to get a scripture reading from Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. While you brothers go ahead and set up. From Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Then we're going to go to the Gospel of Luke, the 4th chapter. Let's get Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Because the Shabbat or the Sabbath is Yah's appointed time. Right? When you go to work, you have an appointed time to be there, right? When you have a doctor's appointment, you have an appointed time to be there, right? You know, this past week when I was working for Black Carrier Horse, that's a distribution company, and we transport auto parts from Fort Worth to Amarillo. And we have an appointed time to get there, drop that load off. And it's important that we get there at an appointed time because the other truck driver comes and he picks it up. We got to be there at that appointed time so the other truck driver, when we unload, got our load off of this truck so he can pick it up and take it to its destination at its what? Appointed time. You understand? So if human beings act on appointed times, where do you think they got that from? The Most High. So the Shabbat or the Sabbath is an appointed time, you understand, for us to gather ourselves together and to fellowship. You understand? All right, brother, come up here and read it. Leviticus 23:3. This is why we are here. This is why we are here.
Chapter 23, verse 3 says, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7 days the Sabbath, the rest of the holy convocation. Ye Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Once again, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Now let's get Luke, the Gospel of Luke, the 4th chapter, the 16th and the 17th verses.
16, 17 verse says, and he came to Nazareth where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written.
And then go ahead and read that.
One more time.
What did he read?
Next verse.
Yes.
It says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised.
So we see. Get that brother a hand for that. Y'all feel the air out there?
Eventually get a...
Okay.
So, the brother read from Leviticus 23 and 3, right? Which is the Torah, right? Then the brother went to what? The Gospel of what? Luke, where we got a testimony of Hamashiach keeping the Shabbat. Okay?
Why is it that we always open up like this?
To have order.
They have order and structure. Because when Hamashiach went into that public assembly, somebody said public assembly, not a house. He went in and he read from what? The scriptures. He opened up the book of the prophet, right? And they read from the scriptures. So they didn't go in there to gossip, right?
Right.
They didn't go in there to backbite. They didn't go in there for a fashion show. But they went in there to fellowship in the what? The scriptures. So the reason why I always open up like this is so we can know why we are doing what we are doing. Y'all understand? Just like a lot of our people will celebrate the July the 4th, not knowing why they doing what they're doing. You understand? Well, it's just a family gathering. I really don't believe in July the 4th. No. If you participate in these activities, you are guilty by association. You understand? And we are guilty by keeping the Shabbat of being associated with the Most High. Somebody get a Most High hand clap. Praise for that.
I am Apostle Malachi P.L. Reynolds, founder, acting pastor of Lost Found Israelites Ministry of the Apostolic Faith. Our mission is to teach the so-called black man and to teach the so-called black woman your biblical identity according to the Bible, to teach you who you are and whose you are, and what is required of you according to what? The scriptures. That is our mission here at the Lost Found Israelites Ministry. And as I said, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedules to come and fellowship with us out of your reverence, out of your honor, out of your respect, and out of your love for the Most High, who we call Yah Elohim, in whom the world calls God in Christ Jesus. Okay? We are a bilingual ministry. That means we speak a lot of ancient Hebrew, and we also speak in the language of our captivity so that we can reach and relate to our people. And if no one has welcomed you today to Shabbat Fellowship, I want to personally thank you from me and my household for taking time out of your schedule to come and fellowship with us. I love you all and I'm praying for you all. At this particular time, we're going to get Elder Timotheus and his sons to come up and to open us up with a song of praise.
Okay. She's feeling a little sick. This song is called Shema. Hallelujah. Okay. For those that wasn't here, the song is called Shema, which is listen. Listen, Israel. Okay? It goes, Shema Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Ehad. Shema Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Ehad. Y'all sing with me. Shema Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Ehad, Ehad. Shema Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Ehad.
Thank you so much for that, Elder Timotheus. Also want to let everybody know, we want to give honor to whom honor is due. Let's give a hand to Elder Timotheus and Elder Scales as well. All right, brothers.
Oh yeah, how y'all doing? Just coming out, to get to our younger generation,
Yes.
to let them know that it's all right to praise the Most High, and He just know who He really is. So, like even though we do music, the younger people are going through music. So, this is one way to reach out to them. So, got a little rap for y'all.
He's the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the servant and he the maker. Made from dirt and it is amazing. Give him your life and he's gonna save you. Read some scriptures and open your eyes. You realize everything is a lie. Lie to your face, they steady deceiving. Time to break away from all of these cheaters. Thank the witness who witnessed to me. Woke up a lion who wasn't holding back none of the heat. Woke up the fire who's spreading truth to the strong and the weak. The Most High is higher than anything you can dream in your sleep. So why you keep sinning like he can't see? Keep sinning like he ain't real. Your sinning is on repeat. Your sinning gon' get you killed. The punishment is coming and I'm praying for you all the way to brighter days. No holidays, just saying fake is calling me distant. The truth is what I'm speaking. The truth is what I'm hitting. Home runs is what I'm getting. Bible knowledge, not the college. Y'all the loudest. Can't be silenced. I praise the highest and to not be violent. Spreading truth, now the Torah got me. Now keep his commandments. Reading scriptures like a bandage. Let it stick to your soul. That way when everybody see you, they already know. YAH'S in you, so believe me when you witness some more. Trouble Judah, hollow you, just trying to sharpen your sword. Your knowledge is your power, so what it's gonna be? A gun in your hand or a scripture to read. I'm saying, what's your plan when y'all was me? Judging your sins, you move with sins all of your life, believe. This really is the new chapter. Stop the curses the past generations had put out there. Stop the stealing and killing our own man like these rappers. Stop all this petty hate. Stop all premeditating. Stop putting on this body armor, spreading hate to keep us on the think we really doing is just as you the reason we keep buzzing. I'm trying to help tremendously cause y'all's above me. I'm trying to give you whole energy, survival's coming. I know you ready for change. I know you desperate and hope. I know you tired of pain, and yeah, I get it. Yeah, I really get it. But praying and reading scriptures is how we beat that spirit. I pray for you.
Let the Most High take control of the wheel. It's all in His will. It's true that we know it's real. We're giving you something to feel. We will let you know what's up with the deal. Most High, Adonai, our Father, growing up the way He taught us in the land that brought us, they called us, they brought us, they even lost us, they cost us our heritage. Yeah, they even mocked us. Wanna take our crown that's already promised to get into the promised land with no guidance. Wanna rob the riches and fame and keep us honest. Doing all of the above while still being violent. Man, say, gotta walk through the shadow of death, almost there. And then we see who we are, we got left, or so well. You don't run to all your friends who need help, they need help. The Most High gon' bring you back on me, except if you accept the name of Yah, the one who sits on high, cloud nine, I pass the bar. All the signs that you always ask yourself, you know this ain't just something you can deny. You got by time, you got time. The Most High gon' do what He wanna do. It's up to you to walk this path, but you gotta choose. Get to walk it, then you live it, you're not gonna lose. You get hit with all this pain, you're not gonna bruise. You get to live your life and drive around on food. The Most High will tell you something, then you gotta move. This ain't no joke, and I'm telling you. I'm teaching you something new. Now we in school. We tell you using the whole world just like a tool. A great deceiver, a jester, and calling you a fool. You got the knowledge, what you gonna do? Like East Johnson, the choice is yours, it's up to you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, give him a hand. Brother Larry, be my reader for the day.
Okay, the reason why I wear gloves,
Because my hands sweat. Y'all hear me? Believe it or not, Brother Lee, some people will be distracted from the message. Like, why you wear gloves? Like, why didn't you listen to the message? Well, holding this mic is because sweat. Yeah, one of our preachers have handkerchiefs. But that just shows you how, like when we open up with the prayer, I put in, lead us not into temptation and not unto distractions too. You know, because people will get distracted by little stuff. Little stuff. You understand? Like why he wear gloves, or why didn't you listen to the message? You know what I'm saying? Because more important than the messenger is the what? Message. Except when it comes to Hamashiach. Well, he was the embodiment of the message. Before we continue this series about the Hebrew Children's Academy, I'll sit up now. We're going to continue the series, and I think we are at part 5 of the dysfunction of the human family to the perfect family in Hamashiach, whom the world called Christ. Okay? And this is part 5. No, part 4. I think we at part 4. Part 5? Okay. Thank you. We're at part 5. Thank you, Elder. We're at part 5.
Part 5.
Huh?
5.
Okay. Thank you. But before we get into that, we are going to discuss why we should not celebrate or participate in 4th of July activities. Okay? One thing about this ministry is that whatever you do, there's a reason or logic behind what you're doing. And that reason or that logic behind what you're doing may not be right. Just because something is reasonable, it doesn't make it right. You understand? If something may make sense, but it doesn't make it right. You understand? I was riding down East Berry on July the 4th, and they was having some activity celebrating July the 4th. A lot of our people, the so-called black man and black woman of America. And they were celebrating 4th of July. And the police began to roll up on them and arrest. And the Most High spoke to me, Brother Lee, and he said, you see how silly our people are? You out there celebrating the so-called Independence Day, and you are losing your independence in handcuffs going to the jailhouse. And the Caucasian officers are not celebrating, they're watching you. Now you getting upset, and the Most High is using them police officers. Now this is controversial when I get around my civil rights groups and my black activist groups, you understand? Because they think it's just, they messing with us because we are melanated. Please. There is a spiritual reason why they harass us. And the Most High, I believe, was using those officers to harass them because they had no business. The Most High will use Gentiles to reprimand Israel.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, go to the Bible. He used the Assyrians, the Babylonians. He used affliction to get our people's attention.
Yes.
anyway, July the 4th has nothing to do with us. Ain't that right, Elder Darrell?
Yes, sir.
I forgot to mention you too. Elder Darrell is our other elder in this ministry. Give that brother a hand. He's been sick, but I've been praying for you, and I'm constantly in contact with him. And he stays out there in the Crowley area, so I certainly thank the Most High whenever he is here. Okay. But July the 4th has nothing to do with us as a people. Because July the 4th was all about the white so-called colonists declaring their independence from King George, England. Okay? And the reason why they wanted their independence from King George, it wasn't because he had them as slaves. Isn't that interesting? It wasn't because he was necessarily beating them. Who can give me an answer why they declared their independence from King George? The white colonists declared their independence from jolly old England.
Money.
It was because of religious reasons.
No.
Money.
No, sir.
You said why they
Declared their independence?
from England?
Yes. The American Revolution.
Oh, you said
Why they declared their... Why did the white colonists declare their independence from England, King George? Why did he declare his independence from them? Why did they declare their independence? Why did they fight against them? It was because of a tax. Somebody say tax.
tax.
It wasn't because they were slaves. If you do the historical study, King George felt like the white colonists was complaining because they actually lived a lot better than their brethren did in London. And in England, the white people over there thought that the white colonists was just complaining because they actually lived better than they lived in England. But the government of the Kingdom of Britain decided to tax the colonists, and the colonists thought that the tax that they taxed them with was unfair because they had no representation. In other words, their argument was that you don't have the right to tax me without a representation. King George III said, look, I'm a king, baby. You're going to do what I say. This is not a democracy. See, that's the problem with a lot of our people in America. You think just because you living in a democracy that you got the right to say what you want to say. But when Hamashiach come back, he's going to be a king. It's going to be a kingdom, baby. You ain't going to have your own mind. You don't even have your own mind when it goes to stand before a court. You think that you can just think what you want to think and post what you want to post because social media allows you to with no accountability. But anyway, King George's like, wait a minute, look, I'm a king. You are my subjects. You're going to pay the tax or you're going to face penalty. But the white colonists was like, well, that's unfair because we don't have nobody representing us over here in the colonies before you, great king. So they decided to rebel. And they won. They won. But they was fighting against King George while they yet had our forefathers enslaved. Y'all hear that? They was crying out saying, look, we want freedom from this oppression, from this tax. While at the same time, what? You want freedom from a tax while you got slaves? When they was rebelling against King George III, talking about give me freedom or death, they had slaves, our forefathers, under them. How much sense does that make?
Still today they giving them money. Still today.
Exactly. So they rebelled and they won. And they were separated from England politically, not culturally. Because culturally, the United States still speak English. Culturally, they still exalt the family, the royal family of England. Like whenever one of Prince Charles' sons get married, you know, it's all on the media, right? Even our people. You know, we get so fascinated about Prince Charles' son and the royal family of England. But what about your royal family of Hamashiach? You understand? Now listen, during the American Revolution, the King George III and his army told the slaves that was under the oppression of the colonists, the white colonists, that if they joined the British army, that they would be free from slavery. One of the generals, Dunmore, he was a general in the British Army, and he sent out a proclamation to the slaves that was under the white colonists. And he said to them, I do hereby further declare all indented servants, Negroes, or others free that are able and willing to bear arms, they joining His Majesty troops, or King George army, as soon as may be, for the more speedily reducing this colony to a proper sense of their duty to His Majesty crown and dignity. So this British general or official of King George III told the Negroes, the black slaves that was under the white colonists who was rebelling against King George III, he told them that, look, if you come and join us, the British army, His Majesty army, we would give you the freedom that you don't have under the white colonists. So when he put out this proclamation in 1775, within a month, 300 black men had signed up with Dunmore's Royal Ethiopian Regiment. And the regiment grew to 800 men due to that proclamation, and inspired thousands of other enslaved people to seek freedom from to seek freedom behind British lines throughout the Revolutionary War. Now, so in other words, there was another proclamation made also. The Phillipsburg Proclamation also, which was another official of King George III, who told our forefathers that if you come and help us fight against these white rebellious colonists, we will give you your freedom. So many of the slaves escaped from the white colonists and fled up north to Canada. And many of them fought with the British against the American rebellions, against the white colonists, okay? So, that's why in Canada you have a large population of Israelites. Because even when Harriet Tubman would free the slaves, and they would say, Lord, take us to way up yonder, they weren't talking about heaven. That was code talk, telling everybody to go up yonder to Canada. Because Canada is above the United States. You understand? So I wanted to bring this out that during July the 4th, that was the white colonists declaring their independence from Britain. while at the same time holding our people enslaved. Y'all see that? And the British abolished the slave trade and slavery before the United States did. The British told those slaves that, look, while they fight for their freedom from a tax bill, they got you in oppression. You come on and fight with us, and we'll give you your freedom. And although the British lost, Elder,
You still ain't free.
no, what I want to bring out, although the British lost, they kept their word with those slaves. They say, you know what, you still have your freedom. And you can, there's a book called The Book of Negroes. I think one of these cables did a television series called The Book of Negroes. In the Book of Negroes is documented that 3,000 blacks and enslaved Africans who had escaped to the British line during the American Revolution were evacuated to points in Canada such as Nova Scotia as free people of color. Meaning the British kept their word with those slaves and set up them in Canada and set up some even back in West Africa. They kept their word with those slaves that fought with them, even though that they lost. They kept their word. So the reason why I'm bringing this out is to point out that we have no business based on historical facts that you can pull up on your Google up on your phone. We have no business participating in a celebration of July the 4th that was perpetuating our oppression as slaves. You understand? We had no business. But the British told those slaves that if you come over here and fight with us, we will give you your freedom, and they gave them their freedom. You understand? So we shouldn't participate, not even in the fireworks. Because I know what a lot of our people would say, well, it's just for the children. Well, I don't really believe in July the 4th, but it's the only time I'm off from my job and my family is off. So it's kind of like a family get together. And I know we should celebrate June 10th, not July the 4th. You understand? But I will submit to you that you should not allow this pagan system to dictate to you when you and your family can get together. Just like Timotheus Jr. brought out last Shabbat, that a lot of our people, they don't really believe in these pagan holidays, Elder Darrell, but they do them because it's like a family gathering. That's the only time the family have to get together. You understand? But I will submit to you that you can reprioritize your life by keeping Torah. You understand? Even if you have to take a pay cut on your job to keep Torah, do it. Even if you have to cut down your budget in your house, do it. You understand? And the Most High will prosper you more for keeping His commandments than you working 2 jobs. You understand? So we shouldn't keep 4th of July. We shouldn't celebrate it. I've given you historical facts coupled with the scriptures that we should not be celebrating those days. We should not take upon ourselves the ways of the heathens. You understand? Because it has nothing to do with us. You understand? Now, I know a lot of our people, Brother Lee, even after I present all these facts, like I told Elder Scales yesterday, Brother Larry, they don't care. They don't care. So what? They don't care. They don't care. That's why, Brother Josiah, truth will not save our people. Obedience to the truth will save our people. You understand? Now, at that, we're going to get into this subject.
Family dysfunction in the family of Jacob, his wives, and 12 sons. This is part 5. As we continue our teaching series, go to Genesis, the 29th chapter. Genesis, the 29th chapter. We're going to first see how did Jacob get 12 sons, okay? Genesis, the 29th chapter. We're going to read from the 30th to the 35th verse. Genesis, the 29th chapter, the 30th to the 35th verse. Read, brother.
And he went also unto Rachel, as he loved also Rachel more than Leah.
Now listen, just to give you a little bit of background. Remember, Esau was angry at his brother Jacob, right? And his mother told Jacob to flee to her brother. Correct me if I'm wrong, elders. Okay? And when he fled, or to flee to her relatives, okay? Jacob's mother told Jacob to flee to her family, which is in the land of Ur. To flee to her family, because Esau was upset with Jacob, because Esau felt that he had been what? Wrong because of the birthright, right? When actually he forfeited it up. You understand? So he fled to his mother's relatives. Okay? Now while he was there, he worked for 2 wives. Okay? The one he really wanted, he didn't get at first. Instead, he got the one that was quote unquote cockeyed. Okay? Unattractive. Okay? Now follow me now, and I need y'all help, okay? Scholars, okay? So he had to work, I think, like 7 more years to get the one that he really wanted, which was Rachel. Okay? So he ended up marrying 2 sisters. Leah, the one who was least attracted to him, and Rachel, the one who he really wanted in the first place. You understand? Now, read that verse again, brother.
And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah.
He loved Rachel more than Leah because Rachel was the one he wanted before Leah, right? But his father-in-law told him that it's not our custom to give away the younger before the older. You understand? So he had to work some more years to get Rachel, okay? Read on, brother.
And served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Most High saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Most High hath looked upon my affliction, and therefore my husband will love me.
Now we see right here,
members of the same family with a conflict, right? But what we're doing right here is that we're establishing we're going over some scriptures about how the 12 sons of Jacob came about, okay? The 12 sons of Jacob didn't come by one woman, okay? But listen, the Most High saw that Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, right? So the Most High decided to bless Leah with a child before Rachel. Y'all see that? What verse you on now, brother?
33.
Read on to the 35th.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Most High hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also, and she called his name Simon. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now the time with my husband been joined unto me, because I was born him 3 sons, therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she said, now I will praise the Most High, therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing.
So Judah means praise. So she thought that if she bore Jacob these sons, that she would convince her husband to love her more than she loved, to love her more than Jacob loved Rachel. Y'all see that? Say that again, Elder?
Didn't work.
It didn't work. You understand? And listen, at this particular time, a man above all wanted a son. You understand? So she knew the culture and the customs of that day. Look here, I'll give you 3 sons. Surely he gonna love me now and give me the love and affection that he shows towards Rachel and not me. Surely he's gonna love me more than my sister now. You understand? But like the elder said, it didn't work. But nevertheless, the Most High blessed her. You understand? And at that particular time, Rachel was what? Barren, just like who? Sarah. And who else? Who else after Sarah? Who was Isaac's wife? Rebecca. Okay, so we see a pattern there. Okay, now let's go to Genesis, the 30th chapter. Read the 1st through the 24th verse.
Pastor, can I share something?
Yes.
I got it on the book called The Band of Books of the Bible. And when it comes to Jacob and Esau, Jacob, they say when Jacob came home and sold his birthright, he stole it because he had just got through accidentally shooting and killing Nimrod on an hunting accident. And he was so scared that Nimrod's people, his servants, were going to come kill his whole family, his brother, his mother, and his father. And he said that was one of the main reasons why he stole his birthright, according to family.
Okay.
But they got a lot of stories in there that's not in.
Okay. Thank you, Elder. Read the 1st through 24th verse, brother. Genesis 30th chapter.
30th chapter, 1st through 24th says, and when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, am I in God's stead who hath withheld from thee the fruit of thy womb? And she said, behold, my maid, how you pronounce it? Bila?
Come on, y'all, help.
Yeah. Okay. Go into her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her.
Now, who do you think she learned that from?
Sarah.
Exactly. Now we see that Rachel, the one who Jacob loved it the most, turns to her husband and says, give me a child. If you love me the most, why are you holding back on me?
Yeah.
You understand? My sister got all these. You understand? So she decided to do what Sarah did. You understand? You know, but go into my handmaid. Read on, brother.
And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare son Jacob. And bare Jacob's son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name
Naphtali.
Naphtali.
Naphtali. Did I pronounce that right, Elder? So we see, how many sons so far have been born to Jacob? 5 or 6, okay. Okay. Okay, because I'm going to test y'all, okay?
6. Red 6.
6, okay. So we see that, check out her motive. That last verse he just read, the 8th verse, Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. Y'all checking out her motive? Y'all see that? Read on.
When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took
Zilpah.
Zilpah her maid, and gave Jacob to wife, and Zipporah Leah's maid bare Jacob's son, and Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad.
Now y'all pay attention to all the names of these sons that are being born by Leah and Jacob and their handmaids. Y'all pay attention to all these names. Because we're seeing that the 12 sons of Jacob did not come from one woman. Now, I'm not using these scriptures to condone nor to disapprove of polygamy. You understand? I'm simply pointing out how the 12 sons and the 12 tribes of Israel came about, okay? So she decided to do what, Leah decided to do what Rachel, her sister, did. Well, if Rachel can take her handmaid and get some children born, then I'm going to take my handmaid and get some children born, right? Y'all see that pattern? Y'all see that family dysfunction? And who was the first one to do it? Sarah. You see how that thing is like generational? Maybe even culturally? Go ahead, Elder.
And if you look very carefully between these two women, sisters here, they are actually competing against one another.
Yes, sir. That's what I want you to see.
Instead of praising the Most High for what they have.
That's the point.
Rachel's response in the 8th chapter, no, in the 8th verse in the same chapter, she said, and with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister. Not with a stranger. Your sister is someone that is within your own family.
Yes.
And family dysfunction means what? Conflict within the same what?
Family.
Same household.
Same household.
You see?
But it's nothing new under the sun. Still going on today.
Exactly. That's what Miss Reynolds be saying all the time to me. There ain't nothing new. Ain't that right? She get on me about that all the time. Ain't nothing new. I'm like, you sure right. There ain't nothing new under the sun. So this is competition. Like the Elder Timothy said. It's a competition. It's conflict within the same family. Read on, brother.
And Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zipporah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy sons mandrakes. And she said unto her, it is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and wouldst thou takest my son's mandrakes also.
Uh-oh. Are y'all reading this text? Now my son was bringing this to me. And Leah was saying, now, Rachel, you asking for something that my son is bringing to me. Isn't it enough that you took my husband? Y'all see that in the text? That's a conflict going on here, right? Read on, brother.
Okay, taking my husband, and wouldst thou take away my son mandrakes also? And Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes.
Now, did y'all just understand the verse he just read? And Rachel countered and said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's matrix, for thy son's mandrakes. Y'all see that? You see that, Brother Josiah? She said, okay, you want to sleep with my husband, who's your husband as well, but he loves me more? This is what Rachel is saying. Okay, well, just for your son's mandrakes, you can have our husband tonight. Y'all see that? Does that go on today? Because there's nothing new under the what? Sin is sin. The form of it changed, but it's still the same. Read on, brother.
I have hired thee with my son's magic, and he lay with her that night.
So Jacob, coming in from the what? The field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet with him and said, you must lie with me tonight. Oh, wait a minute, I was going to lie with Rachel tonight, because she's the one I love the most. But Leah is like, no, I hired you for the night. It didn't start with soap operas. It didn't start with daytime soap operas, y'all. It started in the scriptures. You understand? Read on, brother.
And Yah hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the 5th son. And Leah said, Yah hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the 6th son. And Leah said, Yah hath endured with me a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons.
6 sons, surely he shall love me.
Zebulun.
She said, 6 sons, he gonna surely love me now. Read on, brother, 21st verse.
And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Denia. And Yah remembered Rachel, and Yah hearkened to her and opened her womb.
Opened her womb because she was what? Barren. And the children she was giving Jacob was through her what? Handmaids. Right? Read on.
And she conceived and bare a son, and said, Yah hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Most High shall add to me another son.
Okay. So she finally got a chance to conceive and bear a son. And when she was able to conceive and bear a son, she said, the Most High has taken away my reproach, my dishonor. Because it was a dishonor for a woman to be barren. You was considered to be useless, worthless in that culture, in that of that time, if you couldn't bear any children. Okay? At that particular time. And she called his name Joseph. Now let's go from there to Genesis 35th chapter. Genesis 35th chapter. So by now we have how many sons born to Jacob? By Leah, Rachel, and their handmaids.
I have a count.
10. You're exactly. Let's see. Is it 10 or is it 11? 11. That's right. That's right, Brother Lee. We're going right there right now. So it's 11 sons and 1 daughter. Whose name is what? Dina. Okay. Now, let's find out about the last son, or the last tribe that was born. Genesis 35th chapter. Read the 16th to the 20th verse.
Genesis 35th chapter, 16th to the 20th verse says, and they journeyed from Bethel, and there was with a little way to come Ephraim, and Rachel traveled, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass when she was in hard labor that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also.
Let me say something about it. Let me say something. Somebody said midwife. Hebrew Israelites, you have no business allowing a man doctor to help your wife to conceive. Let's put that out. You hear me? Doctor. Midwives were women doctors who help a woman to conceive. Okay? Because no man, I don't care if he's a doctor, has no right to see another man's wife private parts. Okay? All right, make sure, men, that you find a woman doctor for your wives. So midwives, women help a woman to conceive. Read on.
And it came to pass, for her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Beoni, but his father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephraim, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave, that is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day.
Okay, now we threw that one down. Now we're going to go to Genesis 37 chapter. So, all the sons of Jacob that he had by Rachel and Leah and their handmaids total what? 12. 12 sons. And each son stood for 12 what? Tribes. Okay? And he also had a daughter as well. Now let's go to Genesis 37 chapter. Now, we know that Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, and his love for Rachel more than Leah caused a conflict within his family, right? Now, we're going to see a conflict among his 12 sons. Read Genesis 37 chapter.
Okay, 37 chapter, which verse?
First verse.
First verse?
Yes, sir. And read on.
And Jacob dwelt in the land of wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Ziphlah, his sons' wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report.
Okay. Now, it says that Jacob, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. And he brought unto his father an evil report about what they was doing. In other words, they probably considered that he was what? Snitching, right? In today's culture. Third verse, read.
Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he had made him a coat of many colors.
Now, listen. Joseph was loved by his father above the other 11 sons. Above the other sons. And he gave him a coat of many colors. Okay? Now read the fourth verse.
And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, he hated him and could not speak peaceably
They hated
unto
him. They hated him.
They hated him.
And could not speak peaceably unto him.
So this love that Jacob had for Joseph above his other sons caused his other brothers to hate him to the point where they couldn't speak peacefully unto him. Y'all see that? Thank you.
And he was given a coat of many colors. But why did Jacob love Joseph above the others?
It was his old age and by the wife that he loved the most.
Exactly. It was because he was the son of his old age. It wasn't like a disrespect to his other sons.
That's the way they took it.
You understand? And anybody who would read these verses, you know what I'm saying, they would try to find fault. You understand? But it wasn't because it wasn't because of anything else other than that he was just the son of his old age.
Y'all turn around and pay attention.
Y'all turn around and pay attention. Turn around and pay attention. Where's your Bibles? So, but But this love that Jacob had for Joseph caused conflict among his other brethren. And family dysfunction means conflict with members of the same family. Read the 5th verse.
And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren. They hated him yet the more.
So Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. You understand? He was already hated for being his father's favorite, but now he added more hate and persecution upon himself by telling them about his dreams. Read on, brother.
And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we are binding sheaves in the field, and lo, sheaves arose and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheep. And his brother said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, and shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
That means that they bowed down to him. And he said, how many stars? 11. Each star stood for what? His brothers. Y'all see that? Read on, brother.
And he told it to his father and his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said to him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, the earth? And
Y'all see that? We don't want to just read through these verses and not get what it's saying. Or else we'll be guilty like our people who are woefully misinformed in the Sunday churches. That's why I do a call and response. Because if you're just listening to me and listening to him and we're not reading these verses, you understand, then we're guilty just like our people who are woefully misinformed in a lot of Sunday churches. They don't read scripture. They don't read Bible. As our dear brother Marvin Zapp is coming to pastor right here in Fort Worth, Texas, most people are not going to be going over there to hear a word. They're going to be going over there because he's a celebrity, because he's a singer. Not so with lost found Israelites. We scholars over here. They go to the Sunday churches out of tradition, not to read scripture. So we see that he added some more hate and persecution upon him from his own what? His own family. Let me tell you something. Let me give you some revelation knowledge. A lot of you are being held back. A lot of our people are being held back, not by strangers, but by your what? Own people. Make it plain.
By your own people. By your own DNA. By your own blood. By your own family. What did Hamashiach say? When his mother and his brothers was calling him, what did he say? He said, who is my mother? Who is my father? But them who do the will of Yah Elohim. That means that you are more of my family but for keeping Torah than someone who's not keeping Torah. Right? There are some things that are more important than blood family. What's more important than blood family? the truth.
I love you, mother. I love you, father. But I don't love falsehood. I will continue to honor you, mother. I will continue to honor your father. But I cannot go in the way of falsehood.
We all gonna have to deal with this, Brother Lee. Brother Dominique. Conflict, we're not just reading scriptures. We all done had or got some conflict with our family members, whether it's immediate family or extended family. And Joseph was being hated by his brothers for this dream that he received not from Shaitan, but from the Most High. And he was even rebuked by someone who should have known something about his dreams, Jacob. Jacob said, what did Jacob say? When he told it to his father, the 10th verse, and he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father what? Rebuked him. Now Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes, the 12 sons. He's the father of the Israelite nation, right? Just like George Washington is considered the father of the United States, right? Well, he is. The United States. But the father of our nation is Jacob. Why? Because he had 12 sons, 12 tribes, and 12 tribes consist of the nation of Israel. Okay? But he told his brothers, they hated him, he told his father, and he was rebuked for a dream that he had received from his Creator. You understand? A dream that he had received from his Creator. Somebody give me the time.
12:23.
Okay. A dream that he had received from his Creator.
Why am I being persecuted for something that I received from the Most High? Read on, brother.
And he told it to his father and to his brethren, that his father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said upon Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. And he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren and well with thy flocks, and bring word again. So sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field, and the man asked him, saying, what seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed thy flocks. And the man said, they are departed hence, for I heard them saying, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, behold, the dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say, some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben
So they wanted to kill him for a dream. Not because he had stole from him, not because he hated him, for a dream that he received from the Most High. for an anointing that he received from the Most High. We so goddamn busy. And listen, when I say the word goddamn, that's not a curse word. When I say it, it's not a curse word. When I said in context. Goddamn simply means God cursed. Because when you are anointed, you're going to be persecuted. I want a lot of people in this ministry. Elders. I'll get you. But I understand. It may not happen, brother. It may not happen, Dominique. Because I'm not teaching that if you give this and that, you're going to get a house on the hill. It's your season to shine. Because I don't teach that. Will the Most High bless you with that? Yes, if you keep Torah. If you obey his laws and statutes and follow Hamashiach. But because I don't teach that, it's rare that we're going to get so large in here. Because I'm not no big time celebrity. It's rare. I'm not going to get it. If I get it, praise the Most High. You understand? Read, go, brother.
They wanted to kill him for him to get receiving dreams from the Most High, just like they want to kill us for coming into the truth.
There you go. That's my point right there. Get that brother a hand. Look, when we come into this truth, we're going to be persecuted because we've been set apart by the truth. Joseph was being set apart from his brothers.
Yes.
We are set apart from the unawakened Israelites. You understand? But this dream not only brought him persecution, but it brought conflict among his brethren, among his own people. And some of you will compromise your relationship with the Most High to please your earthly family. Now, why do you think Hamashiach said what he said? You must love me more than you love your earthly family. Now, someone who don't understand, they would say, well, he said you must hate your mother and your father. No, that's not what he meant. You got to understand that it wasn't originally written in English. You understand? It was written in Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic. You understand? You know, we know he's not saying hate your mother and your father, because in Exodus the 20th chapter in Torah, it says honor your mother and your father. But what he was actually saying, and we saw that he honored Mary, his mother. You understand? Now, but what he was saying was that you got to be able to love him more than you love your people or your mother and your father, and yet still honor them. "7 days, Lee." He said, "Give me 7 days." No, excuse me. He said, "Give me 6 days." Excuse me. No, he said, y'all correct me? He said, 6 days is yours. 6 days is yours. Can I have 1 day? Without you having to rush here and rush there? He told his disciples, can you not tarry with me for 1 hour? Elder Scales said, look, I wait a whole week to come to Shabbat. He's got a little pain, but he's pressing on. You understand? Well, we'll get to you, brother. Let us not be men pleasers. Let us seek to please the Most High. And this young man was facing all this persecution from his own brothers, from his big brothers. You understand? Because he had received a vision from the Most High. You understand? And people who are not in tune with the Most High's anointing and purpose that's over your life would have you running here and there, doing everything else but what the scriptures teaches you you to do. What's wrong with following the scriptures? What's wrong with it? Read on, brother.
And Reuben heard it, and he...
Let me say this. The world is fully staffed and fully funded. But the truth is understaffed and underfunded. We will rush to our jobs. We will rush to do what our lust want to do. You understand? But we won't lust. We won't be eager to do the things of the Most High. Yahweh, whom the world called Jesus, said in Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of Yah and everything else. You understand? And the reason why people can get up in your business while you're sitting in Shabbat is because they see that you ain't real with this. That's why they can text you while you're all up in here. Y'all finished? Y'all through? But they won't text you like that on your job. Because their God, Timothy, is their money. Let me tell you something, Elder Darrell. Christianity is not the one world religion. The love of money heals.
Yes.
Because of the love of money,
They just connected.
the love of money, you will sell your own people out. The love of money, you will sell your own children out. For the love of money, you will tell your own children, I ain't got time for you, I got to go to work. Y'all see that? The love of money is, Paul said, for the love of money, not money. Not money. Money is good. But Paul said the love of money is the root of all evil. That's why the love of money don't train children up. Good morals. Read on, brother. How am I looking? What time you got, Keisha? Huh? 12:33. Read on, brother.
And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit, and that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came.
So one of the brothers had a little sense, right? Like my old grandma would say, like my late grandma would say, somebody ought to have a right mind to stand up and tell somebody what's right. Y'all hear me? So this brother had a little sense to say, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because their mind was to what? Murder him, right? But this brother had a little sense. He said, wait a minute, y'all. Read on, brother.
And it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat, and his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into the pit.
Hold up. Revelation knowledge. Do not let people that are persecuting you strip you of your anointing. Somebody need to write that down.
Fred speak.
Don't let your circumstances, don't let your DNA, don't let your people strip you of your anointing. That means out of your purpose, out of your position. You understand? Don't allow your circumstances and people to cause you to forfeit your calling, your vocation. Because when the Most High anoints you, He purposed you. Y'all see that? So they stripped him out of his garment of colors. You understand? which stood for the favor of his Father. You understand? There's a parallel with the heavenly Abiyah and his chosen. The Most High chose Israel. And we are the apple of his eye. But we allow sin to take us out of our purpose. You understand? Read on, brother.
And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Galilee with their camels bearing spicy and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is if it we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us.
What profit is it? Look, please, y'all, I can't. Y'all bear along with the Most High. I can't rush through it. I can't. He said, what profit is it? Just to kill him. No, not to kill him, but to murder him. Because when you kill, that's self-defense. When you murder, that's wicked. You understand? What profit is it just to murder him? Y'all see that? Ain't no profit in that. Ain't no profit in that. Well, we're gonna murder him. Let's get paid for it. This is your own DNA, right? This is your own blood, right? Read on, brother.
Come and let us sell him to the Israelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content. Then there passed Midianites and merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Israelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt.
Judas.
Yes.
Somebody.
Your enemy is in your worstest. Your worstest enemy is right in your family.
Love of what? Love of what? Money. What profit is it? What profit is it? I want to make some money off this. Somebody's making money off our ignorance. Somebody's making money off of us celebrating things that we have no business celebrating. They see us as a prophet. They saw afflicting their brother. There's a profit in this. We can get paid, baby. Let's get that money over your own blood. Bone Thugs and Harmony would say, for the love of money. Y'all got to check my YouTube channel out, Money and Morals. You understand? And let's back it up to the old jazz. What you won't do for the love of money. Let me get your son first. Go.
I was gonna say with honor thy father and thy mother. The thing they get confused about that, they don't know what the word honor means.
Break it down, bro.
Honor means respect. There's obedience and then there's respect. You have to keep his laws, keep his commandments. But if they ask you to do something that isn't of the Most High, you have the right to not do. You have the choice to not do that.
That's right. Elder Timothy?
Concerning the how much they sold their brother for, 20 pieces of silver. In contrast to Judas when he sold Yeshua, our Mashiach, it was for the same price, 20 pieces of silver.
That's right. 20 pieces of silver. 20? Well, no, it was 30 pieces of silver, wasn't it?
30?
It was 30 pieces of silver.
30 pieces, I heard.
Yeah. But nevertheless, it was a sellout.
Right.
Back in the days, in the early golden era of rap, they used to, say if rappers, if you sold too many records, you was a sellout. Sellout.
They said
Sell your soul. But we see that the love of money, they said, look, what profit is it? Let's make some profit. So they sold him to the Ishmaelites. You understand? Now I'm about to conclude. But listen, this family dysfunction, which means, or dysfunctional family, means conflict within the same family. And the thing that caused this conflict within the same family, you understand, was envy, jealousy, and yes, even the Most High. Because the Most High had a predetermined plan. The Most High knew that they would be jealous of him, of Joseph. The Most High knew that when he gave this dream to Joseph, he knew that his brothers would be jealous of him. And that his brothers, before they even did it, would sell him into Egypt. That's why the Most High had a predetermined what? Plan. That in spite of the dysfunction, in the family. Now this is the good news, Brother Lee. Somebody say good news.
Good news.
Because I don't know about y'all, but I want some good news. I don't just want it, that's like, us Hebrew Israelites, when you bring out these curses, be sure to give them some hope. Okay? That's the good news. The good news is that in spite of your dysfunction, isn't it wonderful to know that the Most High predetermined plan can still prevail in your life? Because later on, if you go ahead and read the story about Joseph, he got sold into Egypt by his brothers through the Ishmaelites. And he was working for one of the top officials in Pharaoh's house named Potiphar. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Potiphar gave him the right of way in his own household, even over his wife. Now, you just don't just trust anybody with your wife. If you do, women, if he just trusts anybody to you, then really he don't really care about you. Man, I tell you, I blow up that phone. Where you at? You know what I'm saying? You don't trust anybody. But Potiphar trusted him. And he trusted the right one. Because I hear some brothers, man, I went to jail. I told my best friend to look out for my woman. And he slept with her. You understand? But Potiphar's wife wanted Joseph. But Joseph was, no. I fear the Most High, and your husband trusted me enough, and I'm not going to bring shame on my Elohim.
Right.
You see?
And he would have been breaking Torah also, because we're not to covet another man's wife.
Exactly. You see that? He didn't want to bring shame. And she kept, and he was under pressure.
Yes.
When somebody say, don't pressure me, well, sin pressuring you. You ride down the road, you see all that advertisement up there? It's pressuring you to come out your pocket.
Yes.
Sin. It's pressuring you. So why not be pressed to do the right thing?
Yes.
You're going to be pressed. Your job pressure you. You understand? Your friends pressure you. Your spouses pressure you. You understand? I've been pressured. I've also pressured. But it's best to be pressured to do the right thing rather than the wrong thing. You understand? So, but he ran away from her. You know, when the Bible said flee fornication, well, he literally did. When she grabbed hold of him, he fled. And he wasn't gay. He wasn't gay. And he was not gay. Because some women will use that to get a man to commit adultery to him. You mean you don't want this? You must be gay. I'm going to tell him anyway. And a weak man will like, I'll show you who's gay. You know what I'm saying? A weak man. Because he's concerned about his reputation, his pride, and not concerned about his relationship with the Most High.
Right.
You understand? So he ended up getting put in prison for something that he didn't do. But she pursued. He was in that position in Potiphar's household because of the favor that was on his life. And in prison, he got locked up. Trey, Sean, Shamel, Israel, he got locked up. But the favor of the Most High didn't stop. When the Most High, when he was sold into slavery, the favor followed him into slavery. Followed him into the prison. To the point where the prison official gave him the right of way in the prison cell. In other words, man, I can just leave the cell open with him and give him the keys. Right. He ain't going nowhere.
Right.
And then he got favor from the jailhouse to the palace. The Pharaoh.
Yeah.
You see where the favor of the Most High took him? In spite of the dysfunction that he had in his family. In spite of the dysfunction that he had in his family, the favor of the Most High exalted him. And brothers and sisters, that is the good news. That in spite of the dysfunction that we have had and have right now perhaps and will have, because we're in the truth that we're going to have in our family, or have in our family, the Most High will still use you if you continue to live right. Hold to your integrity. You understand? And keep his Torah. Keep his what? Commandments. And at that we're going to conclude with a few questions and comments, brother.
That's why I always tell people it's real simple when I say it like this. Satan have tools just the opposite from the shoe. If you walk with a shoe and use his tools instead of using Satan's tools, you have y'all in business each other. Satan's business. Because Satan's business don't last for a moment.
And just to conclude the story of Joseph and the dysfunction within Jacob's household and his 12 sons, you know, his sons was brought to remorse because later on they found out that they had to come to the same brother that they had envied, hated, despised for some help. That means that just because you're having a conflict in your family, be careful how you handle that conflict. Because at the latter end, the Most High may want to use you to bring them over into the truth. At the end, as an end result. You understand? So don't lose your respect for your family members. You understand? Watch your character. You understand? Watch how you deal with people who disagree with you. Okay? Because in the end, the Most High was using Joseph to save his brother and his father's household from famine. You understand?
And you know, regardless of all the hatred, all of the envy and the stuff that was done even unto Joseph and unto the children of Israel, Yahweh's truth is going to come to pass whether we want it to or not. It's going to come about. The dream that Joshua had still came about regardless of the hatred of his brothers.
It still came about. Any more questions and comments? Anyone? Okay. Give the Most High a hand clap praise.
Next week will be part 6. I hope y'all are not bored with this. You understand? Because we're most in need of family values. Family values. Y'all hear me? We are most in need of what? Family values, family structure. And at a time where the United States government, our judicial system is promoting, they're promoting, what is the word I'm looking for? They're promoting an agenda of another type of family. You understand? But we at Lost Found, we're going to continue to promote the family that the Most High put together, which is what? A father, a mother, and children. We're not going to alter that and say man and man. We're not going to alter that and say woman and woman. And we're not going to alter no independence. You can move that over.
But the word you're looking for is gender neutral family.
Gender neutral family. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to continue to promote the family that the Most High set up in the garden. You understand? That's what we're going to do. At this particular time, we are going to take up an offering.